All right, so we'll go ahead and begin. So let's just start by introducing our school counseling team. We have Mr. Boyd, and he serves students with the last names A through HA. He cannot join us tonight, but he wishes us all. I'm Miss Napora, and I serve students with the last names HE through RA. Miss Vega serves students RE through Z. We also have a counselor in the Wellness Center. Her name is Miss Wolf. And then our Media Center coordinator is Miss Fergus. And so you're probably used to getting a lot of emails from many of us just to inform you of things that are going on in the College and Career Center side of things, in the Media Center, like our college visits, along with different events that are happening in the Wellness Center. We also have on board our principal and our assistant principal, Principal Johnson, and assistant principal, Mr. Davis. So they're going to be helping us manage the questions and answers if needed. So if you do have a question, feel free to ask it in the dialog box, and then we will try to get to your questions, all of your questions at the end, if we are not able to answer it during the presentation. All right, so let's get started. So just some important information to share with you. We didn't have all of our seniors have one presentation recently on Monday, and that was during third and fourth period. That presentation, we invited all of our seniors into the room. They had a presentation from Jostens, as well as our assistant principal. It looks something like this, and you can look at it at a future date, but basically I've included the whole presentation. It also includes the senior handbook, which is really, really important for students and families if you want to know all the important dates of the end of the year, like when the senior barbecue is, how many graduation tickets a student will get for the ceremony on June 4th, what they need to prepare as far as their cap and gown and dress attire for graduation. All those little details of the senior year, including graduation details, is shared in that senior handbook. So whenever I have a student that has a question about their senior year, that's the document I go to. So you might want to download that and have it handy throughout the year. We've also, each counselor has met or is in the process of meeting with each senior one-on-one for a senior meeting. And in that meeting, we are talking with our students about what their plans are, how we can help support them, the workshops that we are providing to help guide them through the college application season, and all the resources that we have on campus. So some of those documents might include something, or some of the things that we've shared with students through like an email and classroom presentation, like this college application flowchart. So depending on what institution they might be applying to, or if it's a UC school, a state school, a private school, an out-of-state school, here are some guidelines with some links to be able to help students flow through the process with as little stress as possible. I know it is very stressful, but hopefully this flowchart simplifies the process a little bit. We also have a senior timeline, which is just a month-to-month calendar of things that students should be thinking about or doing. So during the month of October, we encourage students to use that fall break to visit some colleges. It's a great time to see schools in action when students are present. Sometimes during the spring break, students are on the college campuses or not on campus, and so it can be very difficult to see how a campus would be looking once a student has enrolled. But the October break does provide the student with the opportunity to see all the students there and basically the full operation of the school. So also some things that have changed with the senior timeline. Typically, if you have a senior that, a child that has graduated before, and you've gone through the financial aid process, you probably remember starting the FAFSA, the financial aid process, in October. That has changed a little bit, and that has moved to December. So we will provide all the information about workshops and how we can help support you in completing the financial aid forms later on, but that process will be starting later this year. The application workshops, we are providing a UC, a Cal State, a common application workshop the week of October 14th. We have students, we've sent out an email to students asking them to sign up for these workshops. They are with college representatives, so these are people that are reading applications and they know how to answer some of the most difficult questions relating to these applications. So we would encourage students to sign up for those workshops. So there is a link in this presentation for students to sign up. We will also be having a personal insight question workshop, and that's put on by the UCs, so that if your student is applying to the University of California system, we would encourage them to sign up for that workshop. Oops. In addition, when students are filling out their college classes or their classes on their college applications, there are a couple classes that do receive college credit where students will apply for college credit. So students, if they are listing their college classes, then but they were a high school class, then they should remove that high school class from their course list if they are listing it as a college class. So for example, if they are in DTech and their senior year, they're taking Advanced Design Studio, they'll be applying for college credit at the end of the second semester through Oxnard College for Introduction to Entrepreneurship. So that class is Business R100. So we encourage students to list that as Business R100 and then remove that from their senior year. Also, all of our ninth graders took College and Career Seminar via computer literacy their ninth grade year. They may or may not have completed the college application, the application to receive college credit. So that class should be listed on their VC transcript as Counseling VO2. So if they're able to log into their VC portal, look at their unofficial transcript, and they can see that that course is listed, then they can list that as a high school or college class and then remove it from the high school class listing. So we're happy to work with students to go through that process if they are confused, because that can be kind of challenging. Just as a reminder, graduation is June 4th. That's going to be at VC at 2:30. Senior finals for semester 2 are May 29th and 30th. So students can't take their finals early and they won't want to take them late because that could possibly jeopardize graduation. So those are very important dates that they don't want to miss school. And looking to the future, for fall and winter events, on November 6th, we are having a regional college fair at Buena High School. There are going to be hundreds of college representatives there to talk with students from the Ventura area. That event starts at 6 p.m. As soon as we get more information on that, we will send that out through Parent Square. On November 7th and 15th, we will have on Foothills campus, we will have a VC workshop. So for any student who plans on attending Ventura College in the fall of 2025 as a high school graduate, it's mandatory that they attend the November 7th and 15th meeting so that they can properly take the steps with a VC representative to obtain the VC Promise. So there are a few steps that they need to take to get the VC Promise, which is the free tuition. And that all starts with the workshop on the 7th and a follow-up workshop on the 15th. In December, as I had mentioned earlier, we are going to have more information about completing the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid, and the California DREAM Act application. So that will open up in December. Ventura College is really great at supporting all of the students that, regardless of where they plan to attend in the fall, they will help a family complete those forms correctly through different workshops that they have. So we'll give you more information on that. Completing the FAFSA and California DREAM Act application is a graduation requirement. So there are some, if you don't want to fill it out for whatever reason, there is a way to opt out of it, but we would encourage all families to fill out that application so that they can have access to scholarships and grants and not have to pay the full price of tuition at their new education or post-secondary institution. December 2nd, we will have it is the UC, University of California, and Cal State University application deadline. So we encourage all students to try to get their application in, hopefully before the Thanksgiving break or during the Thanksgiving break, because the deadline is December 2nd. There might be some extensions for some of the less crowded campuses. So some of the CSU campuses that aren't impacted, or impacted basically means they have too many applications for not very many spots. So for those universities, like an example would be Cal Poly Humboldt or Sonoma, Chico, and certain majors, they might extend that deadline. So you can learn more about that on the Cal State Apply website, but there were some Cal States that extended their deadline for applying up through like March. So we'll provide you with more information on that later on. January 21st, that is when the Ventura County Community Foundation scholarship application closes. It's open now, so we would encourage students to start checking out that application. This is one application for many scholarship opportunities, and these are scholarships that are only available for Ventura County residents. So it makes it less competitive, although still competitive, but we would encourage students to start that application. They do require letters of recommendations, transcripts, and important details. So it's good to start that application early. All right, so just to give you a few details on some of the class of 2024 data, so you can get an idea of why we talk so much about college. From the class of 2024, about 70% of our students do complete the A through G requirements. So in our one-on-one meetings, when we're talking with students, we go over their transcript and we talk about what credits they need to graduate, but then we also talk about those A through G requirements, which are also referred to as the four-year university or Cal State or UC requirements. That's the 2 years of world language. They have to pass their classes with a C or better, complete 4 years of English, 2 years of history, a year of a visual performing art. So that's just a few examples of the A through G requirements. But basically 70%, roughly 70% of our students do complete it. So they are eligible to go straight to a four-year college. But of those students, 54% actually of our students, 54% choose to go to a two-year college, and then 95% attend Ventura College specifically. So that's why we spend a lot of our time with Ventura College, is because a large percent of our students do attend Ventura College because they, it is financially appropriate for a lot of families, since Ventura Promise generally covers the first 2 years of tuition. When students, so getting into applying for colleges, there are different procedures for different campuses. So we would encourage students to explore the website of the schools that they are interested in to get the details of each of those campuses' requirements. One thing that I do want to point out is, regardless of how many college credits or how many college classes a student has completed, all students are applying as freshman applicants. So they apply as freshman applicants because that freshman or transfer label depends on their graduation date, not the number of credits that they've earned. So everybody is, if they are applying to attend in the fall of 2025 and they're graduating June 2025, then they are a freshman applicant. When they eventually enroll in their campus, they will share their college credit with their new campus, and then they can adjust the year that depending on the number of credits that they have. But for application purposes, it is a freshman applicant. In just next month, we will have Ventura College on our campus to do a presentation with our students on November 7th and 15th. I did include last year's presentation. There's a link here. So it provides families with the different programs that Ventura College offers, and also information on the Promise Grant and anything that you might need to know as far as getting your students started at Ventura College as a high school graduate. That's in the presentation, but that will be shared with our students starting on November 7th. Next, more data from the class of 2024. So of the 39% of students that stated that they were attending a four-year college, there were 35% of those students plan to attend a Cal State. So that's usually our biggest chunk of four-year students. 28% plan to attend a UC. 29% plan to attend school out of state. And then 8% plan to attend a private school within California. So a big chunk of our student population does choose to attend a Cal State campus. All right, next we have Ms. Vega presenting on California State University and the University of California.
Thank you, Ms. Napora. So we do have 23 CSUs to choose from. Our students do have that. Can you go to the next slide, please? The most local, of course, would be Cal State Channel Islands. That's within our geographical area. What that means is that if students are applying and they have met their A through G's, minimum GPA of a 2.5, they are guaranteed admission. With the understanding that some of the impacted majors, the guarantee is not there. An example would be, for example, like nursing. But again, if they have that 2.5, have fulfilled A through G, because it is within our geographical area, they are guaranteed admission. Okay, so for the CSUs, like Ms. Napora had mentioned, the application this year is due on December 2nd because November 30th is a Saturday. And so they extended it to that Monday. It is $70 per application. They are not required to send in any test scores or recommendations. They do not want them. So there's actually no place for them to send them on the application. It actually consists of they have four different kind of like squares, or I don't know how to say it, but there's four areas. And so the first area is going to be their personal information. That's demographic information. That's information about parents. So that's one of the squares from the application. The second one, which is one of the most important ones, is going to be the academic. We are using the California colleges. We've asked students to import their courses through California colleges. However, we are asking them to please double check just to confirm that everything is accurate. We've offered, of course, to look it over with them to help them, just to make sure that everything is added in correctly, because again, it is that second block in the application that is going to be looked at for admission, because again, there's no essays or anything like that. They are just looking at that to make sure that they fulfilled their A through G. And with that, we will be having an application workshop. It's going to be on Tuesday, October 15th at 11:55 in the Media Center. Signups are going through Ms. Fergus. She did send an email out to all our students asking anybody that would like to come in. We are having a CSU rep here that day, and they're gonna go section by section on the application. Okay, so hopefully your students have mentioned it and they have signed up. We've actually attached some links in here. A big one, Cal Poly SLO, is definitely one of the most more popular CSUs. It is impacted in all majors, actually. So we just added some videos just so that in case you have some additional questions, feel free, and when you have some time, go through that. Okay, we can go ahead to the next slide. Okay, and next, the UCs. Here we're talking about UCLA, Berkeley, San Diego, Santa Cruz, Merced, just to name a few, Davis. And again, the same date, the due date's going to be December 2nd. This application actually costs $80 per application. No tests, scores, or letters of recommendation are accepted. So again, they wouldn't be sending them. However, for this one, they do have to fill out 4 out of the 8, have to pick 4 out of the 8 PIQs, personal insight questions. So not full essays, but they will have to do a little bit more than the CSU app. And so luckily, we have somebody also here coming on Monday, October 14th, to do a PIQ workshop for us. So we promoted that during when we met with the seniors on Monday, and we asked them, of course, to please sign up for that. And Ms. Fergus sent that out as well. So please highly, highly recommend if they're applying to a UC and they need some additional support in kind of what to write in those PIQs. I would encourage them to sign up. And again, it's Monday, October 14th at 8:30. They will be missing first period, but it will be excused. Okay, just so you're all aware. And we're also going to have a UC application workshop. We have a UC rep coming. That's a little bit different, but that one is on Thursday, October 17th at 11:55. That's during lunch in the Media Center. And again, just to go over step by step, answering any questions that students may have. So we encourage them to sign up. In this slide, we do have some, UCSB does a really, really good job about doing tutorials, video tutorials. So you're welcome to check that out. It goes like kind of step by step with the application. So when you have some time, you have some questions, feel free to go through those videos as well. Okay. And then we have private out-of-state universities. Here we're talking about Common App. So I'm not sure if you've heard, maybe your students have mentioned the Common App. So the Common App's a little bit more intense. There's a little bit more to it. There's definitely essays that students have to write. And this one does require letters of rec. Majority of them like 2 from 2 teacher, they like 2. So usually it's the teachers 2, and then there's also a counselor component. So counselors are responsible for submitting the school profile, transcripts. We upload all of that for the students. And then some will also require a letter of recommendation from their counselor. So we let the students know that on Monday as well. And just something to keep in mind, they all have different deadlines. So we have to be mindful of that, okay? Make sure the students are looking into that very closely, because fall break is around the corner. And we are out from October 26th, and we will not return till November 4th. So what that means is that teachers usually are not checking their emails during fall break because they're on break. So we have to be mindful that if they are asking for letters of rec, that they've already talked to their teachers, especially if they have a November 1 deadline. November 1, we have students that are applying early action. That means they have two deadlines usually. It's November 1 or November 15th. So if it's a November 1 deadline, again, please talk to your students to make sure that they've already reached out to their teachers for letters of rec, and of course, seeing their counselor, because we may or may not be checking email during the break, okay? So again, early action. So early action, there's some differences there. Early action is November 1st or November 15th. And students like to do this because they will have a better idea of where they're getting into earlier on, and it helps them with their decision making. It's non-binding. And usually the students that are doing early action, they're gonna know by mid-December, maybe early January, but most likely mid-December if they got in as an early action student. Now, early decision, this one is a binding. So this one, you're telling that university, and usually can only apply to one college will accept early decision. But if your student gets in, that means they are going. It is a binding contract, and the universities do talk to each other. So we have to be careful that if they're doing early decision, that's because if they get in, they're set, they're going, regardless of financial aid status or anything like that. They're signing that contract saying, of course, that they will be attending. And then, of course, we have regular decision, and that just kind of goes throughout the year. We have some that are due in January. And then later on in the year, counselors, again, in February, we're responsible for submitting what's called a mid-year report that is going to show their first semester senior grades. So we do take care of all of that on our end. And Ms. Napora, you're up.
All right, so next I'm just going to briefly touch on the financial aid stuff. So the majority of student aid will come from loans or grants provided by the college, but the only way that they can give that information to you or give you an award letter that says the expected contribution that the family will be paying and how much the university will chip in for your student to attend their school is through the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. For California universities, for state universities, they can fill out the California DREAM Act application. So the main differences between the two are for the FAFSA, that's to be completed by a U.S. citizen or a permanent resident. And the California DREAM Act application is to be completed by students are considered undocumented. But if you are on the California DREAM Act application, it will provide some questions at the beginning, and that will help determine whether or not you are to fill out the California DREAM Act application or the FAFSA. So there will be, I have linked a tutorial for the 24-25 school year FAFSA. It shouldn't change much, but the students are going to be filling out the 25-26 financial aid application, which again will be released in December. So don't worry about it right now. We will provide you with workshops and everything to get that done. And then we'll update a tutorial for you eventually when that comes out, but it's not out yet. We recommend that students complete this form by March 2nd so that they can be eligible for Cal grants. And that's typically the deadline, although last year there were so many issues with the FAFSA that they extended that a little bit. We don't know what it's really going to look like this year, but we're just saying a March 2nd deadline so students don't miss out on that financial aid information sent to their prospective school. There might be, if they are applying to out-of-state schools, they might have a February 1st deadline. So make sure if a student is applying to out-of-state or private schools that they are checking that school's website to make sure that they're not missing out on any deadlines for their institution for financial aid. So many of our students do apply to like Oregon State or University of Washington. They generally have a February deadline. But for state of California, the UCs and Cal States, we have a March 2nd deadline. The California DREAM Act application, the application and its contents are private and are kept confidential. So that is helpful for the student that wants some aid to go to school and continue their education, but family might be concerned about the information that is provided on that application. We have provided a link there for the California DREAM Act application, so it walks you through step by step exactly how to fill out that form. All right. Sorry. Stop. All right. And next, there might be an additional financial aid form called the CSS profile that some families will need to fill out if they are applying to a private school. So private schools don't have access to federal funding. So if your student is applying to a private school and you want to know if they use the CSS profile to determine financial aid eligibility, then we do have a list here that provides all of that information. So it's listed alphabetically, so you can scroll down there to see if they use the CSS profile or not. There are some links on YouTube that can help a family work through that CSS profile, and we linked one of them here, but it's a step-by-step walkthrough on how to fill out the CSS profile. Sorry. All right, next, scholarships, Ms. Vega.
So scholarships, so the majority of the funding for your future is going to come from the institution, and that comes from completing, of course, either the FAFSA or the DREAM Act. However, there's some additional funding, and big one is the scholarship. We do have a scholarship list. If Ms. Naporov, you can link that and pull that up real quick. So this is something that Ms. Fergus has on her website. And it kind of goes through what scholarships are available, when they're due, what's, the requirements to apply. And a big one, and I say a big one because it's a county, it's a local one, the Ventura County scholarships is the VCCF, Ventura County Community Foundation. Students can apply for up to 5. Hopefully that hasn't changed. I don't believe it has, but usually students can apply up to 5. And that again is only for Ventura County students. So we highly recommend that students get a jump on that. It is opened, and I believe, does it say the close date on there, Jane? Sorry, I don't. I think
January 18th or something.
Yep. So they definitely have plenty of time to get those essays ready. And as long as they're, filling out the application, submitting the essay that they're asking for, hopefully they have a good opportunity to get some money here to help them with that cost. And I know later on there's going to be some workshops on that too for that'll be coming up later down the road, but we will have some regarding the scholarships. And then we've also linked some other scholarship opportunity sites here. You're welcome, of course, to go through those. But again, Ms. Fergus does a really good job of whatever is being sent to her. She'll post it on the website under the Media Center, and specifically college career and scholarship information. Okay. And community service, it is not a requirement. It is encouraged, of course. But it is not a graduation requirement. Hours are submitted for recognition, and this recognition usually takes place at senior awards night. And silver, if your student has completed anywhere from 75 to 99 hours, they're going to get silver. Gold, 100 to 124. Platinum, 125 to 199. And ruby for those students that have 200 plus hours. And our deadline to submit all of that would be March 21st. And all of that is done through Ms. Fergus in the Media Center. We've also linked the website there. It has more information. You're going to find out information about what community service opportunities are available, how to turn in hours. All of that is linked here. If you have any questions, of course. Okay, and then some items to consider exploring. They're all very important, but one of the big ones where we kind of house all of our information is under the FTHS College Career website. Under counseling, we put all our presentations on there. Let's see, as soon as it, right, and there's college and career info there, there's counseling, all that information that you need to know. If you click there where it says counseling resources, everything will be linked on there. It has important dates under the senior information, such as when will awards night take place. We talk over finals, checkout day, graduation practice, etc. All of that you're going to find under senior information. Okay, perfect. Okay, well, and here we go. Congratulations, class of 2025. On behalf of Foothill counselors, we want to congratulate the class of 2025. Thank you, parents, for your support, all of your support these past 4 years. We have a little ways to go, and so we hope to continue to work with your students. As always, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. Mr. Boyd, again, the alpha breakdown A through HA. Mrs. Napora is HE through RA, and I'm the last part of the alpha, RE through Z. So feel free to email us if you have any questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Vega. And just a reminder, we will send out this presentation, a recording, and also the actual presentation with links will be sent out and posted on our website. If we weren't able to get to your questions on in the chat, then feel free to ask them now, and we can stay on for a few minutes to answer your questions. All right, if not, have a great evening. So I see a question about a UC rep on the 14th, guiding with questions portion. The cap has been filled. So, oh, can they open another section? I will ask Ms. Fergus about that. We might be able to get another area maybe opened up. So I will check with Ms. Fergus in the morning and let you know.